Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. I'm so happy that you are here today watching and listening. I have a great show planned, of course, and I'm going to get to it pretty quickly today. But first, I have to tell you, I was at my website, which is a shortcut, psychicmediumcolleen.com. I was there today posting links for these shows for the last couple because I hadn't put them up yet. And I noticed that I wear a lot of red shirts. And I just wanted to tell you I have a lot of red shirts. It's not all the same shirt. So I thought that would be funny, just a little bit of humor to start before I get going. And I'm a medium and a spiritual life coach, and I'm just going to get right to my coaching tip because this one might take a little bit of time, and I want to make sure we have time for our callers. Today's coaching tip is on whether you're in alignment with who you truly are. Now, the word alignment is interesting, and that just means you're lining up with who you truly are. And I'm going to talk about this in relation to vibration. We all have a specific vibration, okay? Now, you may notice people's vibrations. If you're standing near someone and they bother you, you're noticing their vibration. You may not know what you're doing. You might not know what's going on. You just are recognizing it inside somewhere. And we all have a specific vibration where we feel our best and where we feel most like ourselves. That will be the spot, the vibration where we're calmer, we're happier, we're satisfied, we're peaceful. We feel like we can handle our life challenges. And I'm sure you've all recognized those times where you feel good and you can handle things. Then there are the other times where we don't handle things as well. And that's because our vibration is a little bit off. Okay? Everything is vibration. Everything has a vibration. This is something I talk about with healing work. And I'm an energy healer, and I talk about healing. I teach healing, and I explain it to people, especially people who don't understand this concept, these concepts here about vibration and metaphysics and all of those things, that we all have a healthy vibration. And things can happen around us that will shift our vibration. Now, these things are not literally shifting our vibration, except for maybe environmental things, chemicals and things, but I'm not going to get into that tonight, okay? So our mind can shift our vibration. You know that if you're stressed out, you can have physical symptoms of illness and things like that from stress. And when we shift that vibration by stress or thinking too much about negative situations in our lives, we change our vibration to one that's less healthy for us, okay? And it can create all sorts of things. When our vibration shifts to something that's not our optimum vibration, we're not as healthy. We can be unhappy, frustrated, worry. These things can really weigh on us more, and they can actually lead us into a physical illness, okay? I'm teaching you here about energy and vibration right now. I'm going to specifically, though, talk about how our vibration changes when we resist situations that are happening around us. Okay, we're resisting them. We may deny that something's happening. We're going to ignore it. We're just going to pretend it's not there. When we do this, we're shifting the vibration. We're actually using our energy to avoid finding out what we need, taking action for it. We're denying what our inner self wants to express. And we all have this inner self, this part within us that knows the best things about us. And it's not really a separate person or anything. It's like our heart center, our soul center, this inner self. And our inner self is the one that tells you to do something or not to do something. It can be like your conscience as well. And the inner self wants to take care of you and wants to help you live your best, wants to help you express who you are, wants to protect you from negative situations. And when we deny that things are happening in our lives, we ignore them, we think they're going to go away, what we're doing instead is we're allowing our energy to create more stress, to create mind games in our heads. And that vibration becomes not in alignment with who we truly are, because we're not living in accordance to what's best for us. This can be a very hard concept for people to comprehend. If you've never thought about this, you're probably going, I don't even know what you're saying to me. But if you've thought about energy at all, this will make sense to you. We feel things happening outside of ourselves, the situations around us. We think these things are happening outside of ourselves and are actually affecting us, and we have no control over it. We may have the challenges and the negative situations. We think those are the cause of our problems, but really it's our mind. We always come back to the mind. The mind is what's creating our stress by the way we think. And the mind is what's changing our vibration, in this case that I'm talking about, ignoring a situation, that kind of thing. And that can cause other physical symptoms and things like this. Years ago, I was in a relationship that was not really where it should have been. I was in it longer than I should have been. I ignored the problems. I just thought they would go away. Have you ever been in a situation like that, where a rich relationship where you thought, well, it'll get better, or it used to be like this, so it'll be okay. It'll probably go back to that. And we talk ourselves out of what our inner self is telling us. It can also apply to other things too, other situations. You might be in a job, a situation where you just know it's not good for you, but you're trying to talk yourself out of it because you don't see another solution yet. So you're ignoring what yourself is telling you. We think it's going to get better. We don't trust what our inner self is telling us. It doesn't feel great, but we're not willing to face what we need to face. We're not willing to acknowledge what we're being told by our inner self. We're actually making the choice to deny what we're feeling, what we're trying to get from our inner self. When we're resisting facing, we're not accepting what that energy, the inner self energy, is trying to tell us. Now, we can operate like this for a while, and I'm sure you've experienced this. We can compartmentalize. That's a long word. You can take that part and set it aside and say, I'm just going to put this over here, and I'm going to deal with it later. I'm just going to focus on the rest of my life, and I'm just going to ignore it, and maybe it'll just get better by itself magically or something. What happens, though, is we use our energy to cover up what's happening, what we're feeling. We're hiding. We're denying who we are. And that will deplete our energy. And when we do this, our vibration, again, keeps shifting. And this is really important to understand. If we're not listening to ourselves, that's affecting our vibration, which is affecting our energy, how we feel, and comes down to actually the big point of affecting our life force, the energy we use to live. This can lead to even more issues. It's a horrible cycle here. You'll end up being sad, even though this part you've set aside, it will leak into the other aspects of your life. And you might start to feel depressed, and you really don't know why. It's just the way it is. You just don't know why. You might start having physical symptoms. And of course, I'm sure you understand all sorts of physical symptoms you can have, from the tension in your shoulders to stomach aches, headaches, random things that could happen. In my situation, I was having the weirdest symptoms. I was having headaches. I was also having insomnia, of course. That's always a good one. But I was also having problems walking. And it was like my legs just wouldn't work right. And of course, we go to the doctor. We try to find out what's wrong. And they're checking me for multiple sclerosis and all of that. And it's not that at all. And then that kept going, and eventually it turned into chronic fatigue, where I was so tired that I couldn't do anything, but I wasn't sleeping well. So I had used my energy up denying what was happening in my life, what I was feeling and experiencing, what my inner self was trying to tell me. I had used it up to the point that my body was having a hard time even existing. There was no physical cause for anything that was going on with me. But because I was denying what I knew to be true, I ignored it. I resisted taking action. My vibration was not aligned. The result was my inner self, that wiser part of me, was invalidated. I didn't believe what I was feeling, sensing. I wasn't listening. Even with the physical symptoms, I still wasn't listening. But that inner self will do whatever it has to do to get your attention. And if you feel something isn't right, you feel like you should be doing something, but you're trying to talk yourself out of doing it, it's probably true that it's not right. If you have physical symptoms and no physical cause, I was talking to a client the other day who was experiencing that. And it could be a denial of not following your inner guidance. Your inner guidance telling you to do something and you're just not sure yet. And it can be very hard for us to act on something that's difficult, that's going to cause difficulties for ourselves and others sometimes, even if it's the right thing to do for us. And this, of course, applies to so many aspects of our lives. When you don't feel right, you're unhappy, pay attention. Acknowledge what your inner self is saying. Honor it. Honestly recognize what's attempting to come through to you. Just bring it to the forefront of your mind. This can help you change. And even if you can't do it right away, but you know the action is there and it'll start to become more and more prominent, it's a great first step for realigning your vibration, because the awareness is what strengthens that connection to the inner self. It's going to strengthen it. It will make it easier when the time is hold on 2 seconds. Okay, there we go. It will make it easier when the time is right for action. Okay, you'll be more empowered. That strength comes from living true to yourself. Okay, in my case, it took me years and years and years before I finally got to ending this relationship. I'm a very patient person. These physical symptoms subsided, and it was after that that I actually made the connection between my mind, my emotions, and my body symptoms. When we're in alignment with who we are, we're happier, we're more empowered. We can handle our life better. We can handle our challenges. When we stop resisting, denying, ignoring what our inner self is telling us, we'll reconnect to that wise inner self. That's the self that does know everything. You don't really need somebody to give you advice. You have it all inside. This self knows what you need and what you want, and that will move your vibration back into alignment with you and who you are and who your true self is. You'll be able to do what you want to do. So you want to it might take time, actually. If you have an issue going on, and it's big, if you're making a decision to divorce or something like that, it's big. It might take you some time to get there, but once you start to follow that inner self, that guidance from your inner self, you'll be living your life true to you, and that will help you, enable you to live that life of your dreams that you have been looking for. And that is my coaching tip of the day. It's a little bit of a long one because I had to do the education of what energy is and vibration. But there you go. And it can make a big difference in your life if you can be involved in those things. You can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com. And you can also reach me on Facebook, Medium Coach Colleen Vanderzyden. And I would love to hear from you and hear what you've been resisting and denying, because we all do it. But now we're going to move on to our first caller, who is Darcy from California. Darcy, how are you today?
I am doing well. How are you?
Oh, good. Very well, thank you. Do you have something in particular you want to talk about?
Yes. Speaking of feelings and ignoring them, I have been having a really strong feeling that my significant other is, maybe having some kind of affair. When I approach him and ask him, it's always like, no, I love you so much, and never would I ever do that. But I just can't shake this feeling.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Do you know, as soon as you said significant other, I got this feeling in the pit of my stomach that I get whenever there's something big happening in my life. Okay, I just got this feeling. And, you didn't even have to finish. I was going to know exactly what you were going to say. It was unfortunate for me. And I do want to talk about the feelings here, because you are actually quite intuitive yourself. Okay, you pick up on signs and things like that around you. And I'm not talking about just, with your significant other. I'm talking about other things as well. And you're quite good yourself at reading energy. Have you noticed that about yourself?
Yes, I have.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of that feeling there. Okay, I'm going to touch in for just a second because, This has really been weighing on you for some time, hasn't it?
Yes.
It seems like this has been going on for a while. And it seems to me you're doing a lot of what I was talking about kind of like we try to talk ourselves out of it. Out of what we're really feeling. And I have to say, it's really wonderful. You've confronted him and you've acknowledged this with him and said, I'm asking you this and all of that. And I do not want to be predicting anything that has to do with this, like what's going on, except I am feeling, a piece of paper or, it feels like a piece of paper. There's a piece of paper in a drawer somewhere that may very well have information on it you would be interested in. Okay. I don't know what this means, except that that's coming through really strongly. And I don't really want to be, I don't want to be bringing in negative news or anything like this. And I also don't want to be encouraging you to snoop, but I feel like you should be snooping. Okay. And have you been?
Yes. But I feel he's very good at it. He's very good at hiding it.
Yeah. I'm not feeling good about this. I'm just going to be right out honest with you on this. I just do not feel good on this. I want, and I don't know if it's I'm picking up your energy so strongly, that's because I feel deep inside you know the answer to this. And I feel you've been trying to give the benefit of the doubt both ways here. That maybe I'm not thinking clearly. No, maybe he's not thinking clearly. Maybe this, maybe that kind of feeling. And I feel you going back and forth and back and forth. And what I can tell you is when we deny what the feelings are we're getting inside, you'll get sick. You'll start to feel things, in your head. Have you been getting headaches? All of a sudden I'm getting headaches.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's almost when he's about to be home from work.
Yeah. Yeah, there's stuff here. And I feel you clenching your jaw as well. Do you clench your jaw so you don't say anything because you feel like you're nagging him now?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, stepping outside of the psychic role for a minute and into a more friend role, have you actually gone to get counseling to get an objective outsider's opinion on what your feelings are?
I have not.
Yeah, that might be something to consider because it needs to be an objective person. If it's a friend, it's a little hard because we're looking to help you. And sometimes we're not as open and stuff, you understand? So an objective outsider, because there is a bit of that there. Now we are in, where are we now? October, the beginning of October. And I do want to step into the psychic again for a second here because I am feeling that by the end of this month, there are some changes made. I feel that your awareness is much bigger. Okay, all of a sudden I just got another feeling. Do you happen to know one of his very good friends who would actually be honest with you? Somebody else knows what's going on.
Okay.
Honestly knows what's going on. And they would be able to tell you honestly, yes or no. Somebody else knows. And if I feel like I'm in middle school, right? Ask his friends, right? But, it's a very middle school thing to do. But I do, as a friend to him, just say, I'm just wondering. And you would be able to get some information from that, even if it's a denial or a yes or a no. Whatever the answer is, you'll know if it's true. Okay? Okay. Okay, so there's a couple things I want you to check into. One, I want you to snoop. Sorry, everybody out there, but this is the way it is. She's my friend now. I look in the drawers and find paper, and I definitely would like you to have a counselor opinion on this. And I also want to tell you, though, that no matter what the answer is, yes or no, for sure, that you've got this. You know what you're doing. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
Either way.
Yep.
You're going to be fine. Okay?
Either way, yes.
Either way, you're a strong woman. So it's going to be okay. Okay, Darcy, I'm going to have to let you go, unfortunately, because I've got to talk to my next caller because I tend to talk too much and we never get to the next one. So I'm trying to conform tonight. So good luck with that, and listen to your gut. Okay. Just listen to it because it is telling you. Okay. Thanks for calling and good luck. Let me
Thanks
know.
so much.
Okay. See you later. Yeah, now there's a perfect example of listening to your gut. Okay, it's telling her something, whether it's what she thinks we're not really 100% sure on, but there you go. We've got to pay attention because inner self is trying to tell her something. And we are going to move on to my next caller because I'm trying to get 2 people in tonight, is Cheryl from Georgia. Cheryl, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
Good. Are you looking for something tonight in particular you want to talk about?
I was wanting to see if you could connect with my grandson. He passed a year ago.
Okay, and was he in the late teens, early 20s?
Yes, 22.
Okay, because I felt a young one come in. I am feeling an interesting sensation in my body, and I want to know if you know about this. I'm feeling all sorts of weird things in my lower back, okay, and in my stomach as well, in my stomach area as well. Do you happen to know if he had these kind of symptoms before he passes?
He said his back hurts sometimes, but I don't know what to say to you. He passed from suicide.
Okay. Okay, that explains the sudden feeling that I'm getting as well. And there's a lot of stuff going on in there. You know, you had quite a good bond with him, didn't you?
Yes.
And
Very
I understand.
close.
Yes, and I understand from what he's saying to me that you were like a mother to him. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he's telling me, too, you were a big support for him, yes?
Yes.
You were there for him no matter what. Literally,
No matter what.
He could have been a jerk to somebody, you know, just impatient, whatever, having a bad day, taking it out on somebody else, and you were still there for him.
That's right.
Yes, and he tells me, oh, he's got a lot to say to you, so I'm going to go fast right now because he's telling me he's apologizing to you. He feels as though he has let you down by leaving. He says he should have talked to you, and he didn't talk to you. And he's telling me that you have been feeling extremely guilty since he passed. Have you been feeling guilty?
Yes.
Feel as though you should have been able to stop this? You should have been able to take care of this problem. And he says no. Yes, and he says no. He tells me that it was it's a moment of weakness on his part because he knew if he talked to somebody, and especially you would have been able to affect his decision. And he didn't want anybody to affect his decision. He gives me the impression he's a bit up and down when he's here in the physical. I feel high, energetic. I feel a lot of charisma. Was he quite charismatic?
Yes.
I feel so much energy about him. He could be charming, couldn't he? Oh, my goodness. And I also, he's fun, isn't he? He's a good guy. He really is. And I also feel the other side where I feel like I could, you know, sometimes I take my anger out on other people. And boy, did he have some colorful language as well?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. He's got some good language going sometimes. He's just showing me he's not directing at you, okay? And he wants to tell me he is so very grateful, though, for everything you've done for him, not just in the physical when he's here, but also since he's passed, because he tells me you have been trying to help other people remember who he is, who he was as a person. You're trying to help them remember all of the good parts and move beyond the pain of his passing. Have you been helping others with this?
Yes.
And it's amazing, let me tell you. He is so very grateful for that because on the other side, he wants everybody to be happy. He does bring in through that apology. Okay, that apology is very important. And I do feel he wants you to extend that apology to other people in his family as well. And he also brings through so much love. He says you can be one crazy person, and he means that in a positive way. You can be a lot of fun yourself, is what he's telling me. And you guys had some good conversations about all sorts of things, and he trusted you implicitly. He knew beyond a doubt that you would always be there. He knew beyond a doubt he could trust you for whatever it was he needed, and that you would protect him from others and not let other people know things if necessary. And he thanks you for that, because he's given me the impression you're like one of his best friends. There is so much love coming through right now for you. I have to tell you, he's acknowledging as well one more thing before he steps out. Is there a younger brother or something? Who's the younger male I'm seeing?
He was close to my son.
Okay, because I see a younger male around him, and he wants you to say hi. And also, would he hit him, like on the shoulder? You know how guys do that sometimes? Just you come in the house and you hit him? Okay, because he just hit him. Okay, he just hit him. It was like, okay, that wasn't even nice, but he laughed. He thought it was funny. So he wants you to do that to him. Okay?
How about his mom? Does he have anything for her? My daughter?
The love is so strong here. And he's talking about you really supporting her, okay? And you're being there as much as possible. It's a little bit of a lot of stuff there to handle right now. And you guys are still in the newness of it, even though it's been over a year here, it's still new. Okay. So, Cheryl, I have to wrap up. I have to tell you just one more time how much he loves you and how much he thanks you for everything you have done for him, in the physical and from the other side. So thank you so much for calling, and I'll send him to your house tonight. He'll be with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. And that was Cheryl from Georgia. I love when spirits come in to let us know they're still here and they're still involved. Now this week, remember, pay attention to what your inner self is telling you. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this was Creating an Inspired Life. You can find me at psychicmediumcolleen.com and on Facebook, Medium Coach Colleen Vanderzyden. I will be talking to you next week. You have a great day. Goodbye.